Do you believe that there is a book not written by a human? A book 620 pages thick, made of calfskin, weighing over 75 kilograms, without a single correction, without a single error, entirely handwritten by only one person. And that person, according to legend, completed it in just one night. With the help of the devil. Every religion has its own Bible, but only one book in the world is called the Devil's Bible. It's not kept in any church nor preached by monks. Instead, it lies quietly in a museum in Sweden after centuries of escaping fire, bloodshed, and a curse haunting anyone who dares to own it. Its name is Codex Gigas, meaning the giant book. But that name alone can't capture how bizarre it truly is, because amidst pages of scripture, theology, medicine, and history, suddenly appears a drawing, a giant demon, blazing eyes, claws raised high, occupying an entire page. Who drew it? Who wrote hundreds of pages of sacred texts, tirelessly and flawlessly, as if controlled by a supernatural force? And why does every place the Codex Gigas has passed through leave behind unexplained tragedies? This book is not just an artifact, it is a living mystery, challenging time, science, and even human faith. In this video, we will follow each calfskin page, unlock doors sealed for centuries, to find out, was the Codex Gigas truly written by the devil, or is it humans themselves, the most dangerous creatures of all legends? The story begins at an ancient Benedictine monastery in Bohemia, the land now known as the Czech Republic. Around the 13th century, an unknown monk was accused of breaking a sacred vow. The vague records don't specify what he did, only that his punishment was to be walled up alive in a small room with no food or water until death. A silent death sentence, forgotten in the very place he once called home. But then, on the last night before his imprisonment, the monk made a strange offer. He said that if his life was spared, he would write the greatest book ever created, containing all human knowledge, from the Bible, laws, history, to medicine, astronomy, and magic. Just one request: give him one night. The monastery agreed. Perhaps they thought if he failed, he would still die. But if he succeeded, the monastery would possess a treasure unlike any other. And when dawn broke, the book lay finished on a stone table. Over 300 calfskin pages, equivalent to nearly 160 calves' skins, formed an object weighing up to 75 kilograms. The entire content was handwritten with homemade ink, without a single correction. No spelling mistakes, no change in ink strokes, as if written continuously from start to finish in one extraordinary breath. Modern researchers estimate that copying the book by hand, non-stop, without rest or edits, would have taken at least 5 continuous years. Even if there was time for decoration, ruling lines, and illustrations, it might have taken 20 to 30 years to complete, yet it appeared in just one night. But the strangest thing was not the writing. In the middle of the book, on a page 290, is an image that chills anyone who sees it. A giant demon, standing alone on a blank background. It has sharp claws, a long tongue, wild, wide-open eyes, and curved horns like a nightmare of a crusader. The painting takes up the entire page, almost 50 centimeters tall, with no text beside it. Just a demon, staring straight at the reader. Opposite the demon page is the image of heaven, possibly the celestial city or Jerusalem. But the haunting part is, between light and darkness, only one page turn separates them. People believe that Lucifer himself helped the monk finish the book in one night in exchange for his soul. As a sign of thanks, or a pact, the monk painted the figure who saved his life. This was no longer a book. It was a signature from hell. Old legends say that since the book appeared, the monastery gradually fell into ruin. Famine, plague, then wars broke out around the region as if cursed. Those who tried to translate or copy the book's content either lost their minds or died mysteriously. The book was moved from place to place as if no location could keep it for long. When Sweden captured it during war, the Codex Gigas continued its journey, only to be partially burned when the palace where it was kept caught fire. And today, the question still hangs in the air like a deadly scythe. Could anyone really write a masterpiece like the Codex Gigas in one night? Or did Lucifer himself hold the pen to etch his presence into the human world? But this is only the tip of the iceberg, because in the next part we will dive into each page to uncover hidden secrets few dare to face. A book weighing 75 kilograms, over 620 pages thick, made from calfskin. A book in which both heaven and hell are present inside. The Codex Gigas, or the Giant Book, is not an ordinary book. It is not just a copy of the Bible. It is a library, a vault of ancient knowledge, a world contained within two covers. What's inside the Codex Gigas? Scholars have spent decades studying its vast contents. Here's what they found. The entire Old and New Testament, painstakingly handwritten in ancient Latin script. A copy of Josephus' Jewish Antiquities, an extremely important work for understanding the context of Jesus' time. Medical texts based on the ancient theories of Hippocrates and Galen, including herbal remedies, bloodletting, and many methods that today sound medieval, because they truly are. A cosmic calendar containing star charts, tracking religious festivals and astronomical phenomena, as if the book not only tended to the soul, but was also the keeper of time. And then exorcisms, soul summoning formulas and spells, occult texts included without explanation. Bible, history, medicine, astronomy, magic, all in one book, all by one hand. The structure of the book is unusual too. No table of contents, no page numbers. Each section follows the next in a strange, natural flow, as if the writer did not need guidance, but simply recorded what was known. There are strange marginal notes, almost impossible to translate clearly. Some are mere symbols, some whisper in black ink. And then, in the middle of the book, there is him, the demon. No words, no explanation. Just a giant image occupying a whole page, nearly half a meter tall. He is naked, feet large like beasts' paws, hands raised as if inviting. Above him is an empty dome, like he is nowhere and everywhere at once. This is not an illustration. This is a declaration, a statement that says, I am here, in every letter, in every formula, in every prayer you think you send to heaven. Many believe the Codex Gigas was created by a fallen angel, not by man. It knows too much, it covers too much, and it makes no distinction between light and darkness. This is why the Codex Gigas haunts the world. It chooses no side. It just records, as if someone or something wanted to create a comprehensive version of the world without moral limits, without sacred or profane boundaries. But the strangeness doesn't stop there, because some pages have gone missing. Some contents were cut out. Parts of the Codex Gigas, once there, have now been erased completely. The question is, why? And who erased them? Or, does the book itself protect its secrets? In the next part, we will trace the missing pages and venture deeper into the darkness, where the Codex Gigas is not just a book, but a gateway to what no one dares to name. The Codex Gigas was born in a small Benedictine monastery in Podlajice, a land now part of the Czech Republic. The monastery was humble, poor, hardly the place to create such a grand masterpiece. Yet the Codex Gigas came into existence, complete, massive, exquisite. No one understood how, and not long after, the monastery burned to the ground, not due to war, not due to natural disaster. Just one night, a fierce fire broke out. No survivors, nothing left intact, except the Codex Gigas. The book was then taken to Brevnov Monastery and later to the Royal Library in Prague Castle in the early 17th century. There, it became a treasure of Emperor Rudolf II, a ruler famous for his obsession with alchemy, mysticism, and madness. Rudolf built a chamber of darkness in the castle's basement, housing hundreds of forbidden relics, including spirit-summoning texts. And the Codex Gigas, with its giant Satan illustration, rested in the center like a throne. It's said that Rudolf read the book alone each night, speaking to the demon's image, asking it about the future, life, death, and immortality. Soon after, Rudolf lost control. He ordered mass executions of his courtiers, locked himself in a stone tower, and died alone, muttering the name Lucifer. In 1648, at the end of the 30 Years' War, Swedish troops attacked Prague and looted the royal treasury. The Codex Gigas was taken as war booty, brought to Stockholm, where it remains to this day. But strangely, everywhere the Codex Gigas traveled, disaster followed. Podlajice Monastery burned down. Brevnov Monastery collapsed after religious upheaval. Rudolf II went mad and died isolated. Even after arriving in Sweden, a terrible fire broke out in Stockholm Castle in 1697, and the Codex Gigas nearly burned. But once again, it survived without a single scorch. A curse, or the life of darkness? Medieval manuscripts once wrote, "Once the Codex Gigas leaves its first resting place, it will never let any place be peaceful again." People believe the book contains not only knowledge, but also a trapped soul. Could that soul not belong to a human, but to the devil himself? Because every line, every page seems alive, as if written by a living consciousness that never sleeps. Why is it called the cursed book? Because whoever keeps it is haunted. Because wherever it is kept, that place faces calamity. Because no one dares to read it fully, and anyone who has is never the same again. The Codex Gigas is like the eye of the underworld, always open, watching, waiting for someone to look too deeply. And if you think all these strange events are just coincidence, remember, for over 400 years, no one has dared to touch the page with the giant Satan illustration. Not out of fear of dirt, but because the first person who did never woke up again. One monk, one night, a 620-page masterpiece. Can you believe it? The scientific world can't. Yet, they can't explain it either. Historians, manuscript experts, and scientists have studied the Codex Gigas for decades. From the calfskin material, ink composition, writing techniques, to handwriting analysis, they all agree on one thing. Only one person wrote the entire book. No collaboration, no variation in handwriting. Even the script from the first page to the last remains consistent, as if written in a single breath. The problem is, with such a massive volume, over 160,000 words, hundreds of illustrations, the writer would need at least 20 to 30 years of continuous work to finish, writing every day. And over that time, the handwriting should naturally change due to aging, emotion, fatigue. But with Codex Gigas, it is all unchanging. Not a single line crossed out. No page rewritten. No sign of rest. Is there anyone disciplined, resilient, and mentally extraordinary enough to do that for 3 whole decades? Or could that be proof of the legend? He did not write it. The devil wrote it through him. Some neurologists suggest the monk may have fallen into a trance state, a form of possession where a person no longer controls their own actions. In this state, consciousness fades, time distorts, and a person can work tirelessly like a machine, under the control of another entity. Could the Codex Gigas be the result of a 30-year-long trance, where a man wrote under guidance, not from God, but from something watching through him? Supernatural power? Or a sealed memory? Another theory is that the writer possessed extraordinary abilities, a genius or someone possessed, like painters who create dreamlike art, or prophets who record what is yet to come. The Codex Gigas may not just be a book. It could be a record from a mind no longer human, a book unlike any other in human history. A monk, alone in the dark, writing his entire life without a single change in handwriting. A giant demon painting resting amid the pages of the Bible with no explanation. Codex Gigas. Is it a legacy or a curse? The pinnacle of human willpower? Or a mark of the devil? Are we witnessing the result of an unwavering mind, pushing beyond its limits, or holding the clearest proof of a dark pact between man and demon? Perhaps that monk was no longer human the moment he wrote the first page, or maybe we are simply haunted by our own fears and imagination. But the truth remains silent inside the Codex Gigas, waiting for someone brave enough to understand it. What about you? Do you believe this is the work of a genius or a whisper from hell? Leave your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to support me. And remember, Codex Gigas is just one of many ancient mysteries still unsolved. See you in the next part, where another dark secret from the past awaits discovery.